Okay, so everyone is really excited to see the long-awaited sequel for Wreck-It Ralph, right? I know I am. The first movie, released back in 2012, was a movie about a video game villain who wants to be a hero, so leaves his game in an attempt to fulfill his dream. But his quest brings havoc to the whole arcade where he lives, accidentally unleashing a virus that could potentially kill all the games in the arcade. For me, the movie was not only a love letter to the video game industry for both hardcore gamers and casual gamers alike, pairing up retro games with the modern games of today, it was also a chance for Disney to reinvigorate the idea that the characters we know and love from video games exist in a real world, and that heroes and villains coexist together just like actors would in a movie studio lot. It reminded me of Who Framed Roger Rabbit a little bit, except the humans are more on the outside looking in, instead of part of the society, blissfully unaware of the real world they are interacting with. Unlike in Toy Story, where the toys and the kids interact without any barriers, in Wreck-It Ralph, the characters treat their roles like they would in a job environment, having little to no interaction with the people who play the games. Each character has a role, and they must stick to the program, whether they like it or not. Wreck-It Ralph succeeded in teaching the moral that you don't have to settle for the role you are forced into, might it be a villain, a hero, or a princess. Speaking of princesses, in the first movie, Vanellope already had a lot to cope with, being bullied for being a glitch, which was actually the result of King Candy messing around with the game code. It was Ralph that helped her break out of being just a glitch back into the role she was meant to be, a princess. Though there are lots of theories as to what the main story of the sequel will be, I am excited to see Disney show how to make the internet into a real, believable world without it feeling like it's simply full of product placement. Kind of. We know that the main selling points for the sequel is that Vanellope meets all the official Disney princesses, who are for the most part all voiced by the original voice actors, which in itself is really impressive. Now, of course, there are several princesses missing here, but yeah, let's talk about that in another video. But this is the official Disney princess lineup. Though Vanellope doesn't exactly fit the stereotypical look or design of a Disney princess, it's fun to see her and the princesses together in one movie. Though I do wonder exactly what their role is in the main storyline. We shall see if this is simply a marketing ploy for the movie, or if they actually have a part relevant to the plot of the movie, or at least for some character development for Vanellope herself. While on this subject though, the majority of the official Disney princess line are between the ages of 14 to 19, Snow White being the youngest at 14 years old and Tiana being the oldest at 19 years old. Vanellope is between 9 to 12 years old, making her the youngest Disney princess. Going by the country of origin their stories were originally written in, Snow White and Rapunzel are German, Ariel is Dutch, Jasmine is from Iraq or Iran, Cinderella, Aurora and Belle are French, Mulan is Chinese, Moana is Polynesian, Anna and Elsa are Norwegian. So there are actually only two princesses who are American, Tiana and Pocahontas, though Elsa is technically a queen, but hey, picky. All of the princesses are voiced by American actors, but the princesses themselves are not American. So with the exception of Tiana, Moana and Pocahontas, who have the correct dialects for where they are from, one other Disney princess has the correct accent for her nationality, Merida. Now, before I go into this video is not about race, and it's only partially about nationality. It's more about the one princess from Pixar, and the only princess with the correct dialect for her nationality is also the only princess who is made into a joke, at least from what we've seen from the trailer so far. Outside of her movie Brave, which we will cover in a later video, Merida hasn't exactly been treated with respect or with faith. Disney marketed her as a Disney princess just like any other, sexualizing her and making her more feminine than she is in her movie. One of my very first videos was about this very subject. Go watch it. So why did Disney feel the need to not only make fun of the Doric dialect in the film Brave with young MacGuffin, which is my dialect by the way, but also make a joke about Merida herself having a broad Scottish accent, and also make a joke out of her being the only princess from Disney Pixar? Don't get me wrong, I find the Doric dialect in Brave to be funny, especially since I understood what he was actually saying. I get the joke they're making about Merida being the only Pixar princess, but think about this. If Merida was any other nationality other than Scottish, would this be as funny? I get it. Scots talk fast, and we have hundreds of different dialects that are often difficult to understand. This is the case with most nationalities. I'm not saying that all the Disney princesses need to have accents correct for their nationality in the English versions of their movies. From a selling point, that simply wouldn't work, especially when translating the movies into other languages. These films are made in America, so the characters are going to be voiced by American actors. I am simply worried that Merida is going to be the token Scottish character in the sequel, making her nationality her only character trait and a running joke in the movie. I have been told on Twitter and in comments on YouTube to leave this be. It's just a movie! It's just a movie for kids. It doesn't matter. I've even been called a social justice warrior. Come on, do people even understand what that actually means? The term is thrown around whenever someone raises their hand and says, "Hey, I'm offended!" Social justice warrior is a pejorative term for an individual who promotes socially progressive views, including feminism, civil rights, and multiculturalism, as well as identity politics. The accusation that somebody is an SJW carries implications that they are pursuing personal validation rather than any deep-seated conviction and engaging in disingenuous arguments. Though pop culture has changed the meaning of this term to mean anyone who fights for civil rights as an excuse to be rude, condescending, and sometimes violent for the purpose of relieving their frustrations or validating their sense of unwarranted moral superiority. I don't believe I'm being rude or condescending here, and though this clip did frustrate me, it's more to do with Merida herself and her nationality and how it has been treated by Disney outside the logic of the movie Brave, not how I feel my nationality is being represented by Disney. Calling someone an SJW just for expressing their opinion is unfounded and pretty unfair. I wouldn't even have a channel if I didn't express my opinion on these things. I can understand why this term is being thrown at me, but I just wanted to make a video about this because people keep asking me for my opinion on this clip of Merida from Wreck-It Ralph 2 on social media. So I hope this clears some things up. I'm Mad Munchkin, stay creative.